Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Wildlife Photo Chat. I'm here with Brad, as always, and we got another great episode for you guys. I finally got out and shot. It felt like forever. It hasn't really been that long.
It's been a while. No,
it hasn't been that long, but it just felt like forever. It just kept feeling like just no opportunity, no chance. And I think part of it was I had some little just like very little, but this was like a shoot. Like I got out and shot, you know?
Nice.
So I got out and did some shorebird photography. We'll talk all about that. Emilie and a couple of friends we actually met here in New Jersey. Also, same background 2 weeks in a row. I haven't moved, right? That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
And there might be a third week. We'll see. I don't know when I'm leaving.
Okay.
I want to also talk about, I finalized my setup to live stream a photo shoot out in the field. I'm going to tell you a little bit more. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. It's been something I've been working on a long time. Brad has been catching up with culling. Sounds really exciting, but it is.
Oh, yeah, really?
It's an important part of
we won't bore you too much.
This process. But he also got out to explore a new shorebird location, which is really cool. Sigma released a new lens. We got our wildlife photo chat picks. That's the episode in a nutshell. So, yeah, let's start out. I got a couple of things to just follow up from previous episodes. This was my choice for the close-up portraits from last time. I want to say it as zitherto. I want to just pronounce the name there. Anyway, I reached out to them and just asked them a little bit more info because we were talking about like what this species was. So turns out it's just a hornbill, and they shot it on a Z8 with a 180 to 600. So that's a little bit of background info on that shot. So beautiful shot, and very, very well captured.
Yeah, such a cool bird.
It sure is, man. And then let's talk about this lens. Sigma released a 135 f1.4, beating out all the other 135s by what is it, from 1.8 to 1.4? I think, is it a third of a stop, or is that 2/3 of a stop?
Yeah, I guess it would.
I think it's a third. Yeah.
You got me.
I know. Yeah. Well, I'm trying to think of like. We have the 1.2 lens. I think if I'm rolling it on the thirds, it just goes 1.2, 1.4, 1.8. I'm pretty sure that's the steps.
I believe so.
We could be wrong. You can see how technical we are, guys.
Right?
We really got it down. Anyway, sounds like a cool lens, you know?
I was excited when you brought it to my attention. And like I said, as of right now, it looks like it's just Sony
L mount and Sony E mount. What is L mount? I don't even know what company is L mount. I don't know. Do you know? Yeah, I can't remember. Let's find out.
I don't know.
What company is L mount lenses?
Watch out, Nikon or something.
That's
We'll really look bad.
Leica. There you go.
Yes,
Like
I was going to say it. I had it on the tip of my tongue, but I was like, I wasn't sure.
Nice. All right. So interesting choice of mounts, but.
There was no indication of price anywhere, was there?
You know what? I don't know. I don't see it on this website, but I didn't seek out pricing on it. But pretty
just curious.
Chunky lens. I saw some, I don't know if it was like reviews or just kind of like hands-on experience. And it is a bulky little thing. But 135 at 1.4 sounds great. I'd actually be interested, not specifically in this lens because we already got a 135, but just at some point I would be interested in experimenting with a Sigma lens again, because in DSLR days, they came out, that's when they started with their art series, right? And everybody was raving about it. So I rented some, and then also had a friend who owned some of them, and tried some experiments, so just some testing with it, compared to the Nikon native stuff that I was shooting at the time. Same focal length, same apertures. And it was usually like, I think I compared a 35 and an 85, both f1.4. And with DSLRs, the way they work with like the focusing going up off the mirror, and it's kind of detached from the sensor. If there was like a little bit off there, you were always not getting tack sharp images. And you could do that AF micro adjust thing, but it was always,
I used to do that.
It never felt like 100% consistent. It was like it helped, but it wasn't perfect. Anyway, so my testing, it was like when the Sigma lens hit and it was sharp, it was equally as sharp as the Nikon stuff, 100%. Like I couldn't tell the difference. But what was happening is, let's say the Nikon would hit, nail focus on the subject's eye. This was when I was a wedding photographer. 70% of the time, and the Sigma's it was going like 50%. And it wasn't a huge difference, but it was just like for those moments that mattered with a wedding, I couldn't recreate them and stuff. I'm like, I got to get like the higher percentage lens.
Yeah.
But I can't help but feel like with mirrorless, that's probably not an issue.
I mean, I've got the Sigma, the 50 art. Because Janelle had it for back when she used to do like newborn stuff, and I've shot it a little bit on the mirrorless on the Z9, and I found it, there's no issues. Like, I haven't seen any sharpness issues. Yeah,
I really bet it's
they're great lenses. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I believe so.
Anyway, maybe.
Well, I mean, I used to have an issue with my 500, like the Nikon 500, the big chunky one, and then because I used to do the fine tuning thing, and I cranked it like I can't remember which way I went with it, but it was definitely off. When I made the adjustment, I did see a nice difference, but then switching over to the mirrorless, it's like, oh, okay,
non-issue,
like night and day. Yeah. Now it's just like, not an issue at all.
Yeah. I remember I used to have a 1.4 teleconverter for the F mount class, the 500 f4, and I hated it on the DSLR. It was just inaccurate most of the time. On the mirrorless, nailed it every time. And it's just, I think the way the mirrorless focus work, because the focusing is on the sensor, there's not that disconnect between focusing and actually capturing. So anyway, that's all the stuff we have to catch up on. I don't have much more to say about this lens other than it is a great focal length. We certainly love that 135 for birds and wildlife, and so having just a little bit faster lens sounds kind of cool. And I would guess it's probably a reasonable price,
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I'd be curious to see the difference between that one and the Plana.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're very, very similar.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's get into the updates, huh? Oh, wait, did I mention our topic today? I didn't even mention our topic. I totally forgot about that part of it. No, I didn't. Yeah. Does screen size matter? There you go. That's it.
Yeah.
And make sure you put the screen in there, right? Does screen size matter? That is our topic today.
Yeah. True.
So we're gonna talk about after we do our weekly recap, we're gonna talk about the Instagram thing, viewing photos on the phone. When does it matter? Does it matter? Should you care? All that kind of stuff, and just give some examples and our thoughts on that whole process, or that whole topic, I should say, not process. But other than that, I got out and shot. Yeah.
I know. I was excited when I saw your behind the scenes stuff on Instagram. I was like, oh, nice.
Yeah, definitely. I've been planning this for 2 months, something like that. Just because you have to. This is a place I used to work, and I looked it up. 4 years ago was the last time I was out there. Back in 2021. Yeah. September of 2021. I was out there with my good friend Ray G that last time, which was cool. I just was looking at some of the photos. But it's a place I used to workshop. It's a place that I feel like it's just a struggle for most people to figure it out. It took me, honestly, years to understand this place, and every tide chart is wrong. I've never found a single tide chart that is correct for this location. And that's what makes it challenging, because if you go out at the wrong tide, anything like halfway or above, there's none of this sand, like all the sand and mud that you see here is not exposed, and there's no birds. Like you'll go out there and you'll be like, there's nothing here. And nothing here. And it makes sense. There's nowhere for them to go, right? But then
that's right.
You hit the tide right, that sand starts exposing, and dude, they just out of nowhere. Like as soon as I've been out there when it's like covered and watching it start to show, you get like the little tiniest piece of land, and just like magically out of nowhere, like birds start showing up. You're like, how did they notice it that fast?
They just know.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
It is so cool.
Yeah.
But I'm going to share a little bit more about it as I play some of these videos. But it's a process to get there, as you can see.
That's too funny. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, Patti had a kayak, and Jeff, good friends of ours and clients of mine.
Yeah.
And so I realized as we were going down, Brad, we're driving down, we were going to inflate up our kayak, and I was like, you know what? Patti's got a kayak. I don't really feel like inflating mine because it was going to be a late night. Then we'd have to pack it up and actually had a presentation to do after the fact. So I was like, you know what? It'll just be better if we just throw all the gear in their kayak and then we can just swim it out. Because, look at there's some black-bellied plovers flying overhead. That's what she was showing there.
Oh, that's too funny.
And you'll see there's this one little channel that you have to go through. And then after that, it's maybe like 30 feet wide. After that, dude, you can walk the rest of the way out. Probably like a quarter mile out we go.
Wow.
Right? And if it wasn't for that boat channel that they dug out to let this one dock have access to getting out to the main channel, you could walk the whole damn thing. You totally could.
Oh, no way.
Oh, yeah. As you
so
can
you
see,
guys are touching bottom there.
Oh,
like
I'm walking at that point.
You're just pushing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow,
And I think in a second you'll see me. Yeah, here we go. See, Jeff is walking at that point, and then I'm going to swing around and start like towing the kayak so they don't have to paddle. So we just like drag it out. So, and I don't know, let me pause it here, but like if you can kind of see like this little bit of land right there, that's where we're heading out to.
Gotcha.
So
wow.
we got a good distance to get out there, right? And then you just like walk the kayak out, right? But then you get out there,
so cool.
And this is what it looks like. It's these little openings of sand and marsh grass. And you just walk around and you hit all these different little islands, dude. And there's birds, like you can see back here, there's birds on these right now.
No way.
When we got out there, the clouds had rolled in a little bit, but thankfully the sun came through. But yeah, look at these. You see these little flat mud flats there?
Like, oh, that's so cool. Yeah,
it's so freaking cool. The grass is incredible. So like this is the marsh grass out there, that beautiful greenish golden tipped grass.
Yeah.
And you can get that in the background. And so you just like you work all these little islands. There's different species hanging out on different islands. And the real fun part about it is half of the time, dude, you're like here, and I'll just show it right here, right? You're in the water, laying in the water like this, shooting.
Like cool. Yes, you're getting perfect low perspectives. That's so cool.
But you're like, it's just fun because you're in the water, right? And it's just like this real cool experience. It's like such an adventure. And everybody I used to bring out there, all the clients would just like rave about this workshop. I mean, people still to this day ask me like, you ever going to do it again? You know?
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. It's a fun adventure to get to the location. Then when you get there, it's like prime, like perfect, like setup kind of thing with that low look and nobody else around. And
that's so the other thing, dude. I've never seen another photographer out there other than maybe one or two times where it was somebody that I had previously brought out and asked, you know, if I minded if they came out again. So we had short-billed dowitchers. This is when the light was flat. Semi-palm sandpipers. I took this. It was just fun with Jeff in the background. Here's Patti getting it on with the 400-2.8, just keeping that lens safe out there.
Right.
The sun finally popped. We did the standard shorebird thing. Oh yeah, I've seen, not on this trip, but in the past, I've seen snowy egret, great egret, tricolored heron, little blue heron, spoonbill. I'm trying to think of anything else. I mean, basically all the waders I've seen out there at some point.
That's awesome.
Yeah. The spot is incredible. So we're laying on this one spot. We had like all crept in the water, shooting in some shallow water, just kind of went right up on an edge, and then we just posted up, dude. And then like this thing comes running in. You got common terns flying over and landing. There's a whole colony of probably like 20 royal terns just sitting right next to us there, just doing their screaming and barking.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Semi-palm plovers all over the place. There's another short-billed dowitcher when we finally had some light, but you can see, dude, those cool backgrounds just like melt away.
Melt. Yeah.
You get the crazy layer.
And it's a nice gradient, like the colors, right? Between the blues and the greens and the fading out. That's really nice.
Yeah, totally. That's what it's all about, right? You just get that like interesting layering.
Louise.
Black-bellied plovers
that's cool.
all over. Yeah, it was fun. He was playing around the seaweed. This was a first-year bird. Yeah. It was really cool. I love this time of year with the shorebirds, dude. Have you had enough of them in front of you where you notice like, oh, here's the more drab ones in winter plumage, and then here's these crisp, brand new juveniles that just have these awesome feathers. Yeah,
definitely.
Definitely
cool.
love that. So yeah, just a great time out there. The light hit pretty good.
That's pretty.
The one bummer was like right now. This was like maybe 40 minutes before sunset. It was filtering through a little bit of clouds, beautiful golden light. And then like the cloud bank kind of hit and shut it down. So like we didn't get the sun touching the horizon, which is what you can get out there. Dude.
Okay.
I got to zoom in on this. Look at that.
Yeah, what is
thing.
that?
I have no idea. It looks
like a larvae of some type.
Yeah, like in a little sack. Just
sack.
Nasty.
That's so cool.
Not appetizing at all.
No.
Yeah. So I had one
that's
pop of
nice.
sun
Yeah.
with some dowitchers and then this black-bellied
Yep.
plover I was playing around with. So
I love the grasses. Yeah.
yeah, I was glad to have the one
Really
before.
nice.
So he stayed right there, dude. I framed him through the grasses like that, a bunch of different ways, and then I crawled in close and totally realized I could shoot like right through. I like nestled down in the grasses, got all this crazy cool textures going on in there and everything.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, so I thought that was kind of fun. Yeah, and then
so that's the lens you went with, right?
Yeah, I just did the 1-4
the
whole time.
1-4, yeah.
Yeah,
good
because
choice.
the 400-2.8's beautiful out there, but I hate dragging that thing around and just like trying to keep it over the water. It's just like so much work. And sometimes you want to, play around with the zoom. But you can see, dude, back here, look at that cloud bank. The sun just dipped under there and then shut it down. Yeah. And it was a bummer because the sky above it was lit.
It looks incredible.
As you can see, right? But it was so high that you couldn't get it in with most of the shorebirds because, as you can see, it's just as flat as could be out there. So you don't have any hills to play with to like get them up on anything. And so you just can't really get that background in the shots unless it was like lower. So yeah, it wrapped up early, but yeah, what an experience, man. It's just so fun. I'm just soaking wet, like completely drenched, just shooting out there. And I was just really thrilled because I really wanted to show Emilie my marsh, that's kind of
definitely
the southern New Jersey equivalent of what she's shot in Hilton Head forever. And yeah, she loved it, and it was good seeing some good friends and getting out there and getting some shots. So I
was definitely excited to hear about it because I know you had planned about it for a while and kind of hinted about getting out there. So it's really cool to hear that you were able to get out and everything lined up and the planning of it worked out.
I know we had one day.
It's always fun. Yeah, right.
Yeah, because like there were some days before where the tides were good, which I know you basically you get like a 4-day window of good tides, and then you got to wait 2 weeks, and then you get another 4-day window, and then 2 weeks. And that was the only day I didn't have something scheduled, So, and 2 days before, it's like, oh, it's going to be raining and cloudy. I'm like, oh man, I was so bummed, like it was going to get shut down. And then last minute, it kind of cleared up and broke up just enough. So we were like, screw it, let's go for it. And
let's go.
Dude, as you saw as we were paddling out, the wind was ripping out there. But you get out there in those real flats, it doesn't really matter. Half the time you're shooting on the sand, and you can still find like little protected areas. So yeah, it was a good time, man.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So would you ever consider doing it again, workshop-wise? Or just
I would definitely, I would love to workshop it again, but I'm just probably never going to be, it would only be if I'm in this area long enough to do it. You know what I mean? And like this just happened to be one of these times where we're coming through and staying for a decent chunk to visit my family. But outside of that, that's probably not going to happen again. I mean, listen, as much as I love this, just New Jersey doesn't have a huge draw for me anymore, So I think that's what will kind of keep me doing other stuff.
Definitely.
But one of the coolest things was like to realize that all of the research and planning and figuring that place out, and it still applied. It still was the same. I was able to hop on the tide apps, and I basically figured out like this calculation off of using a tide somewhere else that is always accurate, and then I learned like X number of hours after that is when it's the sand is available here. And dude, this was just by going out there time after time and then taking note. Okay, here's when the sand's starting to get exposed. Then actually note the time and then come back and I mean, we're talking like just tons of visits over the years, just figuring it out. And cool to see it all come into play. And then cool also to be able to just like nail it. And everything was still the same. Like, in 4 years, some of the sandbar positions have changed a little bit, like their formation a little bit, but the main islands were still exactly where you expect. The birds still hung out in the same spots. Like the royal terns are always here. The pelicans are always here.
Cool.
Yeah, it was just like,
oh, that's cool.
Like such cool like nostalgia. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
And I think it's really cool. You were shooting some of the same stuff.
Yeah, I had and talk about tides. Like I don't know what's going on. Same with you. Like just I don't know why. Like I've been nailing them like all the rest of the season, but this past like week or so, it's just been Yeah, they just been high and it's like staying high, and I don't know.
Weird.
It could be just one of those where like it's a higher tide maybe or something. Like, you know, sometimes like when it shifts, you get into these really, really high tides. Anyways, yeah, so I went to go out. It was like, again, one of those like quick decision kind of outings. Looked out as I was leaving my house, because once I do, I can kind of go down closer by the water and I can see across to the usual point that I would photograph, like those ruddy turnstones.
Yeah.
And I could see that the tide was too high, and I'm like, crap, what am I going to do? So I had done a little bit of research, because I had thought in my head, like, the way that kind of point works is like once it's like mid-ish tide or anything lower than that, then like there's exposed area, right? Just like your sandbars, but mine is just like rocks with a bunch of seaweed, and it draws in the birds.
Yeah.
I'm like, along this coast, along this area that I kind of live, there's so many different like little pockets of like little rocky beaches and stuff. I'm like, this can't be the only kind of area that does this. So a couple days ago, I got on Google Earth and I was kind of like scanning along this whole big coast, and I saw this one other area that from the satellite view kind of showed all these like rocks that would be under the water, but kind of looked like it coming off the land, just like that place I photographed. So I'm like, oh, this has got to be very similar. And it dawned on me, I'm like, oh, I remember driving down the street one time and parking on the edge, and I noticed this one little kind of area that was sticking off, and I'm like, I bet you birds will hang out there. So I'm like, hey, this is what we're going to do. The other place is no good. I'm just going to go walk there. Let's just go for a walk on the beach, bring the 500, because I'm like, you know, at the time, there was none of this cloud coming in from the left. It was just clear skies, basically. So I'm like, I'll just bring the 500. It could be stuff that's far away, and let's just go for a walk. And yeah, long story short, came up on some semi-palmated plovers that were running along this area. Tide was still a little bit high, so like this exposed rock area that I think will work really well wasn't exposed. But knowing that they were there, and the way this kind of like area worked, it was almost like it came together like in a triangle. So in my head, in theory, I'm like, I bet you like seaweed and stuff gets kind of like trapped up there.
Yeah.
Sure enough, dude, the beach was like, or the rocky area, I'll call it a rocky beach, was just lined with seaweed. So this is what these little guys were kind of like feeding in and going down to the water and kind of like rummaging around. Again, it's tricky, like with these stupid beaches, like just those rocks are so gnarly, like just it's such a pain, right? They're like crawl around on this stuff, because like as soon as it's a huge beachy area, they could go anywhere. So of course, just like in shorebird fashion, as I'm walking, like all of a sudden they start running. I don't even notice them.
Yeah.
You get down, you're slowly belly crawling, elbows on this stuff. So I start working a bit of backlight, because it was like really nice. Like there was just enough like the rippling in the ocean to kind of create some nice stuff. That's a bit of a wave kind of crashing in the back to create that.
I got to pause you real quick. I just want to let everybody know.
Certainly.
Just try and ignore everything I already shared, because these are so much better. Like, I'm like, really, Brad? You had to shoot the same species as me and just crush it with the amazing light and everything, and I'm out there in this just kind of like flat light scenario. At least I had some green in the background, dude.
Exactly, but that's the thing. I love like that cleanliness of the look of yours.
No, but the light on this stuff, I saw it, and I was just like, oh. Gosh, man, it's just, classic you. Like, it's just what you do, man. You find the amazing light and conditions and do incredible stuff with it.
You know, man, and I have to say, like, I'm so glad now that I haven't had this, like, snobby attitude towards, like, our rocky beaches here. We do have sandy beaches. I've said that before, but in the area I live, it's all rocky stuff. Like, dude, when that stuff is wet and then the sun hits it, it's just, like, this is all... like you saw the beach. This is all those rocks.
Yeah.
They're just wet. Like I was down on a lower section of this, is up a little bit higher, a little bit further away from the water. But once all this, you can even see it now. It's just glistening a little bit off part. So once you dip, like I'm digging rocks up, dude, like digging an area, putting my lens down further.
Nice.
So I played around with a little bit of like, backlit stuff. This guy came up close and kind of like went around in the seaweed, and he was heading back towards the water. But dude, after this shot, I was like, I'm so sick of doing like backlit, bokeh. Like it was just like I'm I don't want to do this again tonight. Like, what can I do different than I've shot this year? Because I have done like a bunch of stuff. So I was like, you know what? The light is going to get real nice here shortly. And like, I'm going to get the last glow. There was nothing going to block it. I'm like, there's enough beach away from the water. I can swing around, kind of get up, walk to get close to these guys. They're not going to see me. I'll kind of like, pick a land marker or some type of rock that I know, like, because they would go down on this little dip and I couldn't see them. They couldn't see me.
Perfect.
So I would go out farther, find like a land marker where I'm like, I think they're right there, and then just walk in towards them and then just peek out over like the little lip and then just wait. The light was just hitting them so nice. So I was getting these real nice like spotlighty effects.
Yeah.
So I played with that. It was a little bit tricky because you had to wait till the water kind of went out and wasn't like crashing in, because then you're getting so much of the lights
like a mess
on the next shot.
Yeah,
you're getting. I didn't mind it on that shot.
No, this works.
But I guess I was going for like moody. Like I wanted just like the dark rocks.
Yeah, and the bird
spotlight. But I think that one just added a little bit of something.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so played around with that, and then they kind of scurried around on this one side. They were kind of like three of them were kind of like chasing around each other, and when they went around this little bit of a point, now they were like right in this beautiful light, and this was like into the last few minutes. This was like maybe the last 5 minutes, 10 minutes of light, and they went in, tucked in amongst these little rocks, and I think this was an example for me. Like as I was shooting it, I was loving it. I was loving seeing like all these kind of bokeh balls, everything shimmering. But I knew in my head, I'm like, the bird is going to get like, it's going to look fine large, but it's going to get lost in a small like viewing kind of form.
Yes.
Because even though you have all these like beautiful bokeh balls, like with all those dark rocks, he's just nestled in. There's no separation. Ideally, I would have loved him to be up, but then
like in this space like, or something. Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere around there. But then I'm like, there wasn't much you could do.
I love this one.
So I just kept playing. Yeah, that's the exact same. Bird never moved. I just crawled in, slow approach. And as the light, you could see like the shift in the light there, going for even just super soft, but really, really warm tones.
I mean, that's an insane set, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. And like, dude, like literally I was there, I think it was like a half an hour before actual sunset, because I didn't realize the drive was a little bit further than I had remembered to get to the spot. And then by the time I walked the beach for quite a while to get to that. Like my timing was off a little bit, but it still worked. The birds were super cooperative.
Absolutely.
And,
yeah, man.
Yeah, definitely had some fun.
It's and really cool like diversity there. And I gotta say, I mean, I do love these two side lit images like that. The drama on them, like they are definitely some standout. That one was one that like when I saw it coming through, I was just like, man, that's I think you just shared it recently, right?
I did.
Yeah. I saw that one. I was just like, man, just classic you getting that incredible light. But yeah, I would say like 1, 4, and that last one are probably like the standouts of the set to me. Not to say anything is wrong with the rest of them, but
I agree.
Those are just the ones that are kind of like the money shots.
The optimal. Yeah, the optimal light, like the perfect. Yeah, just amount of light and perfect.
Absolutely.
Setup.
Yeah.
But I think like to kind of maybe transition kind of into our topic a little bit.
Yeah.
The last 2 shots in that set, again, to me, work when you look at them on a larger screen.
Absolutely.
Like I think the minute you post those on a phone, because I edit them, like my screen is it's like a 24, maybe something like that, 24-inch monitor. When I edited, it looked great, and then I saved it on my phone. I'm like, crap. I'm like, the bird gets so lost in all the bokeh and all the different shapes and the darkness, and it's just unfortunate because like I think in a larger format it works well. Like I think it's definitely there. The bird stands out. You see the bird well.
Totally.
You appreciate all the textures. But it's definitely needs to be in a bigger viewing format.
And what a flawless segue, Brad. Into our topic today.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something that you and I have talked about. I think we've talked about it on the
Mm-hmm.
audio podcast in the past. And yeah, there's something to it, you know. There's something there. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, how important is this screen size thing? How much does it matter? Like, should you care when you edit? You know, my opinion certainly has changed over the years. I used to be certainly one way, which I'll share, but yeah. So I'll just give everybody a heads up. What I've done here is we have a bunch of set of images, and we're simulating them, right? So just like Brad, he works on a larger screen. I have my 16-inch laptop, but it's hooked up to a 27-inch 5K display. And so I have a really beautiful big screen that I edit my photos and view them and call them and all that stuff. And we're recording this in 4K. So you guys, you know, I actually checked it out the other day. Over 50% of people watch this on larger screens, like either a computer or a TV, which is great. So I urge you, if you're not currently viewing this, to, if you can, view the rest of this video on a larger screen, because I think it'll help give you the sense of what we're talking about here. So I've simulated this like this. If I hold my phone up to this right now, for me on my screen, it's the exact same size, right? That's the size on my screen is the size that it would display on my phone if I was holding that in front of my hand, right? And then, so we have the phone, we have a tablet, and then we have your full screen, in this case, like desktop kind of thing. I am only recording a portion of my screen, so this is not the full 27-inch screen. This is only, I would guess, ballpark a 24-inch screen, the section that I'm recording here, that you guys, all your viewers are seeing. But let's take a look at it. Does it matter? I mean, this photo is useless on a phone.
Yeah.
It's absolutely useless.
You got to squint to see where the bird is too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right. And here's the other problem with, and we're going to talk just about Instagram, right? I know there are other viewing platforms on there, but Instagram is vertical only on the phone. That is it, right? So if you post a horizontal photo, especially something that's a little bit more panoramic like this, it's getting scrunched down to just incredibly small. Now, if we go to a tablet horizontal, that's a little better. Now we can see our bird.
Yeah.
We're starting to get something out of it here. But again, if this was posted on social media, on Instagram, this would not be horizontal. As far as I'm aware. I think Instagram did just come out with an iPad app, but I don't know if it runs horizontally. I'll have to check that out, actually. I would assume not, because their entire interface is set up for vertical, right?
Yeah.
So
it is, yeah.
If anybody,
be interesting, try it.
Yeah, I'll have to try it, and maybe I can update it in a comment, or if anybody else watching has experience with that iPad app or any other tablet app for Instagram, can let us know if it does horizontal. But then we go full screen here and look at this. Like, now we can actually appreciate this photo.
Definitely. And all the small little details in it, not only the bird being small, but just all the other little like hints of detail throughout, the grasses, all the shapes in the back with the mountains. Like, you see way more of the whole scene.
And so, Brad, my way of thinking used to be, I'm shooting for what I want to shoot, small in frame. I want to show off the scene. I'm viewing it large on my screen, and that's how I intend this image to be viewed. And so that's what I'm going to do. Damn everything else, right? That was my way of thinking. And I have softened on that, I can say.
I
think there's part of it that I still do connect with, which is like, this is my intended way of viewing it. Like this, like, let's view these things as large as possible and really appreciate them. But I also understand that a vast majority of the audience is on a phone like this, and photos like this do not do well, right? But like,
what's that dot on my screen scratching?
Yeah, is there dust on there? Yeah, like wipe it off.
Yeah.
But let's just switch right to the large view, right? I mean, look at that. Like, that to me, and I know, listen, I understand this is not everyone's taste, right? But to me, this is a compelling image. I can see the bird. It's minimal. I love the subtle texture there. But then flash back to the phone, and again, we're back to useless.
Yeah, I don't even see the textures.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Almost, it just looks like a white, looks like snow or something.
Yeah, looks like a white frame with a dust spot in it is what it looks like. Yeah. Right. And I know people can pinch to zoom in on Instagram, but number one, the quality of the photo that you're doing that on is horrible. And number two, then you're not seeing the whole photo anymore, which kind of defeats the purpose. right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So you're not seeing that framing anymore. And so, I'm just going to show a handful more of examples where it just falls apart. And, we can kind of see the bird there, but we're not really seeing it good. We go to tablet, we're getting a little bit more sense of this. And then obviously the full screen thing is really going to help us appreciate a photo like this. Go ahead.
And it's funny because like, it just dawned on me, like just if you go back to the iPhone version, it makes the rock feel like the subject then, like because everything is so small. Now I'm just like, oh, that just underground rock just like pops right out. Then when you go to the large screen, it's like I know the rock is there, even though it's even more in my face, but like still my eye went right to the subject, right to the bird. Like it it's different how it makes you view the image or where your eye kind of goes at first.
Absolutely. And so I have one more example of where it really fails. Can you find the wildlife?
Right. Yeah.
And this image, Brad, so I think
landscape shot. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that's fine, right? But here we go. Now we're starting to be able to see it, and then there we go. And now we can hopefully really see the wildlife there in the context of this landscape photo. And now, granted, this is one that's a little bit more of a landscape that has some wildlife in it. I would say this is actually not a wildlife photo with a landscape around it. It's kind of the reverse, and we've talked about that with small and frame stuff.
Yeah.
But I still get to see the wildlife here. I still get to appreciate it. And I get to just like let my eye wander and enjoy all the amazing stuff that's happening in this image. But like, just forget it. Forget it here.
Yeah.
And
it makes you wonder like how many people out there, photographers, either have a shot like this that won't share it because they know it's where's the wildlife, where are you going to see it? You know what I mean? It's going to fall apart. It's not going to get anywhere in the social media space, or maybe even go as far as not even taking the shot because to them they're like, well, what is it going to do for my growth, or you know what I mean? Like they might shy more away from the wider scene because we're just sharing it all on IG or Facebook, and most people viewing it are on their phone, so who cares? Nobody's going to see it anyways.
Totally. And so everybody watching, like, what is your approach there? What is your answer to that question? Does it prevent you from shooting this stuff? Does it prevent you from sharing this stuff? If this is a style you like? And again, I do understand that it's not particularly a style that connects with every photographer out there, but for those that do, does it affect you and what you do? And I'll ask that question to you, Brad. Like, what's your take on that? What's your approach?
Yeah, and I'll be totally transparent. I've got shots that I haven't shared because to me it just does not fit the format of like an Instagram phone kind of viewing platform. So I'm like, why post it? I mean, which is a silly way to do it, but I guess for me it's like, if I know 80% of people are that's what they're gonna do, they're just gonna scroll past it anyway, so they're not even gonna get a chance to appreciate. Now, with that said, like I really love that, for your images, like you put your daily posts right on your website. So if someone is intrigued enough and want to go and actually have a look at a smaller and frame kind of shot, they can get the true appreciation there. Something I don't do my own self, but
I mean, that's tough.
I think that's great that you, but I think it's great that you offer that, because I think then that kind of brings the desire then to post it, because now you're like, hey, this is the shot, but if you really want to appreciate, still you can get a chance to go view it on a big screen. So,
and I think,
but I shy away from it.
Yeah, no, I think
posting.
Sure,
I will say posting. Shooting, I'll still do.
Yeah. Just to have it for yourself.
I definitely, and I think, because I just enjoy, like, especially if the scenery is beautiful, I want to capture it all. But I will admit, I'll edit, I'll get it all done, I'll dump it over to my phone. I'm like, I've got bunches of them on my phone. I'm like,
I know you've shared.
Maybe next week I'll post it or something. It keeps getting pushed further. Like eventually it might if I run out of stuff. But unfortunately.
And I think I don't think that's a wrong approach, right? So I think having my website and the ability to post images there has sort of allowed me to have the mentality of, well, you know what? I still love, a shot like this. So I'm just going to share it anyway. But now, instead of being like, well, the audience should appreciate it anyway, more my mentality is, I understand this is not going to do well in this format on Instagram. It's probably not going to really get the appreciation there. I got to say, every once in a while, I'll share one where I just kind of expect it to not do that well and get too much attention. And every once in a while, I'm surprised where it does just catch on and people somehow have, I guess, squinted enough to appreciate some of the smaller in frame stuff. But I think, I guess my mentality certainly has changed in that, yeah, I mean, if you're looking to get a presence online and you're looking to, and I think let me rephrase. I think there's a difference to sort of understanding limitations of the viewing platform, such as Instagram, and then maybe tailoring some stuff and what you share to that platform to try and give your viewers the best experience versus just blanketly catering to that platform and only doing like the absolute, frame filler stuff, right? And I would say I encourage most people to, still push those boundaries a little bit, and maybe not just get sucked into, well, only the frame fillers vertical are going to work, and we're going to show some of that stuff coming up. You were going to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say, do you find yourself, for instance, with this shot right here, how small that bird's going to look.
Yeah.
The textures are barely going to show through potentially. Do you ever find yourself while editing going, okay, let me try a vertical composition here to see if I can still sell the same type of image, but then it's going to work a little bit better on the phone format? Right? Because I can see here in this shot, if you cropped it vertical, bird's high in the frame, so it's still an interesting composition. You're still going to show some detail there.
Yeah.
Right? It's not the same, it's not the exact shot, but it's very similar. So do you find yourself ever doing that often with your smaller in frame stuff?
I do not. So I think what prevents me is I have a vision for that shot when I took it.
Yeah.
Yep. I think it's just like you, dude. When you're shooting it, where you're going to hit. It's very rare that I just take a shot and then get in the computer and just start tinkering around with it and go, oh, here, I turned it into something. I mean, I'm not saying that never happens. It certainly has happened. Where I'm just I took the shot and I had maybe one intention, but then I look at it large and I'm like, yeah, it's not there. And then I'll play with the crop and go, oh, okay, I fixed it up here or improved it.
Yeah.
It has happened. But gosh, 95% of the time, I have an intention when I shot it, when I composed it. I had a vision for it, and if I wanted it to be vertical, I would have shot it vertical in that moment.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And tried to do it. And so to change it after the fact feels like I'm sort of breaking the photo somehow. It's going against. It's fighting against my original intention of what I meant.
Gotcha.
And that's just a weird personal thing. I'm not saying there's a right or wrong here. It's just that's my approach. And I think it's because I have such a deliberate approach in my wildlife photography in the field that translates into the post-processing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, definitely.
How about you?
Yeah, it makes sense. Well, I guess I don't do it. If I have, it's been very, very few times. I think for me, and I'm looking at this shot specifically, I think I may do it only because I probably wouldn't share it the other way.
Yeah.
So if it's a shot that I'm I still I really, really love the shot. Okay, fine. Cropping it vertical. Really, is it killing any context that I wish was in the scene? Well, no, not really. It's not showing the vastness and that big open, making it super, super small frame, but it still kind of does in a vertical format. So with that kind of shot, I probably would vertical, share it, and then, or, in your case, vertical, share it, say, listen, there's a wider version that's a horizontal.
Sure.
Here, it's on my website. Go view it, kind of thing. So I think there's very specific scenarios where I may have in the past done it.
Yeah,
only when I feel like I haven't cropped out something that I'm oh, I really should. I think of winter scenes that I've shot stuff where I'm well, the rest of the scene is just blank white anyway. So what's the difference, kind of thing.
Well, and it's so funny. in this scenario, dude, like if I think about like my mentorship students sending me photos, I will completely change a crop on them as a suggestion and be like, oh, I think this improved it a lot. You know what I mean? And it's because like I don't have the prior knowledge of the intention that was happening when the photo was taken, right? And that's the big part of it for me. And it's just like, it's this weird internal conflict that's like, yeah, but this is what I meant when I took it. And so there is no actually valid reason to not crop something like this vertical and share it. So yeah, I agree with you there. And I'm glad you brought that point up, and I'd love to hear more from other viewers on that as well.
Definitely. Certainly.
So, yeah, let's continue on. So let's start to talk about some things that maybe do start to work, right? And so one of the well-known things with Instagram is just like go vertical. And so, you know, we go vertical on there, and smaller in frame stuff still works. Now, I think this is still on the verge of probably not, because it's kind of like, I see some birds, but like, I don't really see it. Now I get a little bit more context, and then versus, you know, the tablet versus full screen here is basically the same. But that larger photo helps. And then we have the classic frame filler, right? And so I grabbed this one just from some of the stuff I shot the other day, and show like, this works fine. This works great.
It does. Yeah.
Right? It works better on a tablet.
In your face.
And it's even more amazing full screen, but it totally works at that size. And what works even better, right? The close-up vertical, right? So you get a close-up vertical, throw that on the phone, bam. I mean, I understand why these photos get attention, right? If we're going to compare, you know, like here, let's do it, right? We'll go there and there. Which one is going to get more attention online on Instagram?
Right.
Yeah. Obviously, that eye contact, the taking up the better portion of your phone screen, and then not having to squint or pinch to zoom to appreciate it. You know, these close-up photos are made for viewing that way.
Yeah. And it's so unfortunate, because it's like when I look, and it's true, because like, you know, I look at the owl shot and I'm like, okay, you know, like it's good. There's detail, there's whatever, but it's no crazy light. It's just a clean, simple background. So of course, naturally, I'm probably like, oh, that's cool. Give it a like, whatever. The other shot is like, it urges me to want to see more. Like I do, like right away, you're like, I want to pinch, I want to zoom in. Like it's got interest that I can't appreciate. Right? Like it just kind of like, not dawned on me, but it was like interesting to see when you compared the two, that I was like, yeah, like that left shot, it falls apart because I can't see it. I can't enjoy it for what it is. I can't appreciate it for what it is. So then it just becomes, well, I don't know what it is. Totally. I don't know what was going on here, so I just bypass it. Right?
It kind of is like, what was the photographer thinking? Yeah.
Well, and the thing, I mean, if you walked into like one of those exhibits, wall exhibit, and you had this like 40 by 60s, both. Yeah. The owl, you'd be like, okay, cool, it's an owl. You'd see it like a mile away as soon as you walk into the museum. But that other shot, you'd walk up to it. You'd be like, oh, that's so cool. Like I can see under the water. Or look at this texture, and you know, you'd want it. You'd see the background more. Like there's so many more elements to it, but it just falls apart on a phone format.
It totally does, yeah. And so, you know, it's like, what do you do as a photographer? You know, do you cater to this kind of thing? And I think the answer falls in like, what's your preference? What's your goals? What are you trying to accomplish, right? If you're just trying to grow your social media following at all costs, just post one of these, one after the other, right? And that'll do better for you. I think that's a path to not being fulfilled. And I think it's a path to not developing your own style, unless that is really what you enjoy. If that is, then certainly do it, right? Like, and I know there's photographers on Instagram, and I know some of them personally, and it's like that is what they enjoy, that just close-up frame filler kind of bird guide type of shot, and there is a beauty in that, absolutely, right? It shows off the species like nothing else, and those photographers that love it and do it well, I think really excel. They have a massive following. People really appreciate that. And I think it's totally fine as long as that's what you actually enjoy. But if it's not, and you're just doing it only to get the social media attention, that's where I think it's a mistake, right? You know?
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, for me, the way I usually like set up my posts, like I will sprinkle in these like vertical, tighter format stuff, almost like this is gonna be like not weird to say it, but like, so there's a lot of times I'll post these smaller frame stuff that I know is not grabbing attention. It's not getting the likes and the follows. And, you know, if anyone's following their account closely, like you'll see how things kind of like trend, like you're building up likes and you're building up followings and like everything's kind of like spiraling up. And then you may have a couple days where things are off or the shots might not grab as much attention. Everything starts spiraling down. And then it seems like your account doesn't get reach anywhere. I honestly will do a couple of like my kind of thing that I want. Not to say everyone knows me, I'm like a portrait kind of person, but you know, it's got to be the right light and everything else. But I'll purposely throw in like a vertical shot, a little bit tighter. It's going to grab attention, right? It's going to keep things kind of flowing, because if I feel like if I just post the smaller in frame, the things that are a little more difficult to view on a phone format, your account just starts going nowhere. Like it just feels like it starts to bottom out and like you're getting very few engagements. You're getting, you know, like to me, it's like, okay, well, what am I doing? Why am I even posting? Like I'm not getting anything out of it. So I do a little bit of both, kind of like keep this up and down like roller coaster, kind of going along. I don't feel like I cater towards it, so I'm not out there in the field going, okay, got to be vertical today in a tight portrait. Exactly. I need the likes and the follows. But because I show tighter stuff, I'll throw both in and kind of like just keep a variety going on my feed.
Yeah, and the reality is, I think, Brad, you like both of those styles. You know what I mean?
I do.
And so do I. I really do. You know, like I shot this for a reason. If it's the timing's really good on this episode, because I just did 10 days of posting nothing but close-up shots, you know, on Instagram and my website.
Oh, really? I didn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did.
Yes, true. When you now pointed out.
Section of just close-up stuff. I was just kind of curious what would happen, you know? I saw no difference.
Really?
Oh, I saw no difference, dude. Not at all.
That's wild.
Yep. No increase. No
all
more engagement.
Verticals?
No, I don't think I went all verticals. But
there's the
all close-up stuff. You know what I mean? But then it's funny. It's like, and it is a challenge. It was close-up for me, right? And Emilie even pointed out on one of them. I was like, look at this close-up one. She's like, it's not really close. She's like, you could have cropped that vertical. It probably would have done better. But
so I'll challenge you. Why don't you do a week of just like the tight vertical? Make sure
maybe I'll try that down the road
like this.
You know,
I'm telling you, dude. I know shots. I post them vertical, and I know they're a little bit tighter. 100%. Even if it's not like as interesting of a shot or whatever, it'll definitely go further than a horizontal shot that I'll do.
Okay.
It's so weird. Yeah. I've been testing it for a while, at least on my account. I don't know. It's just so bizarre. And it's not bizarre, I guess, because it's so many people view them on your phone and it's in your face. Like it's just in your face. Like it's
kind of what we're talking about, right?
Scrolling.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and I think it just points to the whole thing. We've talked about this before. You know, it's unfortunate that is the dominant platform to view things on. You know, is where photos like this just aren't going to be able to get the reach, because, you know, if you get a chance to see it like this, or if you get a chance to see it like that, it's like, to me, I'm like, this is something I'm incredibly proud of, right? It's just like amazing conditions, getting these 3 birds, these ravens lined up like that, you know, flying in through lenticular clouds over Mount Rainier. It's just like that kind of stuff doesn't happen very often, you know? Same thing here with this gannet flying over. Go ahead.
But I think the thing that does work with these type of shots, though, more than like the other simplicity of the other shots, like there's more context. There's more large items in here that grab the attention, that have such great interest, other than the bird, that I think would make people stop, comment, whatever. Because right now they're going to be like, oh my God, like the mountains, look at those clouds. Has nothing to do with the bird. You know what I mean? Whereas if this was just like blue sky, mountain, like it'd be like, okay, probably scroll past. But I guarantee, because of the coloring in the cloud and just the formation of that mountain, like right there, that's a stopper. Same with the gannet shot. Like you see this like potential colony or what's going on there. Like it makes someone stop and look a bit more, right?
And that's the point of these, right? So that's what we wanted to talk about next. Perfect points, Brad, is can you still do some of this and get away with it, right? Like, and so, yeah, I think these are great points. These are things we wanted to bring up for, to mention. Can you still, even in a very small format like this on the phone, get your subject to really pop out of the frame like that? Can you have other visual elements that are strong and might get attention to begin with and get a person to stay on it longer to then maybe see the wildlife in there and appreciate the composition there? Even if it can't be as appreciated as when it's larger or the largest format, right? There's still ways it can work. And then obviously, again, tying into the vertical thing, right? We can lean into that as well. And so we can still have smaller in-frame stuff where the subject is lit really well, really stands out from the background, or like you said, Brad, there are those other elements that pull you and grab you in. So you don't necessarily need the largest format. You can get the appreciation on the phone. Yep. And I'll leave one last example here, which is this one, which is I think is a great small in-frame image that still gets the attention on the phone. It's got bold lines, you can clearly see the subject. It's different, you know what I mean? The colors are vibrant. So things like that are still going to get attention. I kind of just want to jump back a little bit too with some of the stuff you were talking about, Brad, about, sharing different photos that are probably going to do better and balancing that stuff out. And I'm all for that now. I really do agree that, like, if you are, if you are trying to grow a following, if that matters to you, I think, and we've talked about this and we'll probably do more episodes, there's a balance there that you should probably have on how much importance you weigh on that. But I think there's nothing wrong with having that as a goal and trying to reach more photographers and grow that. But I think balance is key there, and maintaining your own preferences and styles within that balance is key, right? Because, like one of the things, and I don't know if it's even possible with Instagram the way it is now, because I grew my Instagram account before it was kind of the way it is now. And I grew the following because I was just sharing all these photos anyway. I was sharing all of these, these shots that we showed here that maybe don't do as well like this anyway. And then I became known for the small and frame stuff I personally love, right?
Yeah.
So I grew an audience that appreciated that. It may have been a smaller portion of the audience because more people appreciated the closer in your face stuff, but that's okay. I was following my passion and my preferences and sharing that out there. And again, I still am happy to mix it up. You know what I mean? Like if I switch right over to my shared collection, right, which basically shows like roughly in order of what things are here, you can kind of see, right? It's just like, well, here's the recent stuff with a lot of close-up stuff, but it's all over the place, guys. It's like close-up, it's wide, it's crazy textures. It's varied, right? I do still enjoy the varied stuff, even though my main passion and preference is in the smaller in frame stuff. And so I think that matters. So I just urge everybody, if you are trying to grow that audience, pay attention to that, think about that balance, make sure you still put your passion and follow what brings you joy in there. And then maybe once in a while mix in some of the other stuff just to keep things going so Instagram doesn't ignore you.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. Because I think if not, we're all going to funnel down into this one format of sharing and style, and then that's it. Like that's all we're going to see, right?
Totally. Yeah.
We're just going to be all shooting birds on a stick.
Yeah. Yeah, no, totally. So I think those are great points. Like, if you are into the smaller in frame stuff, just like Brad said, bold other elements that can still get attention, vivid, bright colors that can still get attention, making sure your subject still stands out, right? Like, so I think this is a great example, especially when compared to, the one that we'll keep going back to, the sand thing there. Arguably the bird's not much larger. Again, it's a little bit larger there, but it's a white bird on that black spot, wing spread, right? Like it just pulls you in. The shape of everything else there is really getting attention and stuff like that, right? So there's reason to pull you in. Here's another great example of where it is just a complete failure on a wildlife photo aspect of that mountain goat is just like impossible to see there, right? And it is subtle. You know, there was nothing else I could do to lighten that subject up more because it was kind of flat light there. But I do think when viewed on a large screen like that, you know, he's still definitely a subject, right? Like composition wise, we have all kinds of lines pointing in, even the clouds pointing in, bringing us into the mountains. Everything goes down to that little bright circle of reflected clouds where the mountain goat is. So there are things that make a photo like this work, but you know, sorry, like it just doesn't do it there. Other than it's like that's a nice landscape.
Right? Yeah.
You know,
get landscape for
yeah, that's pretty much it. So do you have anything else to add before we wrap up the topic here?
No, I think you summed it up great.
Okay.
I really do.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's very important, like you said, to kind of stick with the things that you love and don't let you know, the format that people are going to view it on necessarily dictate exactly how you share and shoot. So
yeah, exactly. All right, so shall we get over? Look at us, an hour episode. We might wrap this one pretty early. I know. Ooh. All right, guys, let's go over to the hashtag. All right, so the last episode that we asked people for the topic for this was small in frame. You know, so how appropriate. And I went with one from Michael Dries. He's a student of mine, and he actually was a wonderful client and guest that joined us up in Newfoundland this past year. Brad got a chance to meet him and hang out with him, but Mike shared this stunning image of a limpkin.
I love it.
Yeah, it was like, I think he took this, if I'm not mistaken, when he told me, it was just like right near his house in Florida. It's a lake he visits often. He went out there for the sunset, and the thing just like flew in, just like dropped in, and was just there.
No way.
Yeah, I think it either flew in or just walked out into that space. Either way, he was just kind of like, oh my gosh, you know. And he ended up, it looks like in the caption here, he shot it at 50 millimeter. Wow. And like, what a beautiful image. You know, it works really good. This is one I think would do good on the phone, right? Dark bird against the bright colors. We have really nice colors. No other dark, bold lines that intersect your subject. It stands out nicely. You'd probably get away with it. And a congrats to Mike. He just had an image awarded in the top 100. Not this one, but he did get one in the top 100 at the Audubon contest. So congrats to him for that. And then,
it's absolutely gorgeous shot, Mike. Really good. Really good.
And I love the one you picked out, dude.
Yeah, I had to. This is my kind of jam. Maxime did a great job on this one. I think actually, I don't know if you can on this. Can you go over? Little arrow to kind of show it actually like smaller. Yeah, so you see, really appreciate. You can tell it was like early morning or late. I don't know if it was set early morning. Yeah, morning mist, right? So you know that was just like. The light was probably just starting to creep in there. Absolutely gorgeous. Just love the whole mood, the whole scene. Like I said, that's my kind of morning. I can envision myself there enjoying that. So the subject stands out fantastic with those little foggy mist coming off the lake. Yeah,
I love the color too. It's like a unique tone. That happened here.
Yeah, it's like a pinkish. Like like I think it's that pre-dawn, early morning light. That's what it feels like to me. I've shot very similar lighting setup, so I love that.
I know it's a young grebe too. You can still see the zebra pattern on the side of the head. You know,
really nice.
I know, it's a stunner for sure. Beautiful. I'm glad you pointed out to go to the next one. I didn't know if it was a different image there, but it's nice to see that. So, and this is another great thing to tie into our topic today. That's another approach you can do, right? Is you can start with that closer crop and then have the additional image in there be your original crop, just to kind of show people the context, maybe draw them in the first place with that, and then get them to look at the additional one. So something we've neglected to mention, but I think is a great tip as well.
Certainly.
So that's it. So
great job. Great submissions.
Yeah, definitely. And so keep them coming, guys. So our topic for the upcoming episode, or for this one, is going to be just what Brad and I have been shooting: shorebirds. Let's see all your shorebirds. And so I've forgot on some of the previous episodes to let everybody know watching how to submit. We're doing just Instagram only because that's where Brad and I are more often than anywhere else. And all you got to do is just go ahead and look up at the hashtag right over here that you see on your screen. It's Wildlife Photo Chat Challenge. Just go ahead and add that hashtag on there, and you will get to see. Let's see. I'll bring up some more of these. You'll get to see other photos that were brought in and tagged as well if you kind of search out that tag, and then you can see it on our Wildlife Photo Chat Challenge, or I'm sorry, our Wildlife Photo Chat video page on the website. Your photos will show up in there as well, so you can see what other people are posting and tagging as well. I think it's kind of a fun way to just kind of connect with this little community that we're starting to form here.
Definitely.
And I love every week when we go to pick these out, like just scrolling through this and seeing all the stuff that people have been submitting. Yeah. It's been really, really fun. Yeah.
Yeah, inspiring too.
Yeah, so I definitely appreciate everybody doing that. And I think with that, that's a wrap, man. What do you have coming up? You got any plans for the coming week, dude?
So, dude, I should put... So there's... And you're going to kill me, I know. And I'm so like, this is like my struggle. And this, I'll just kind of this is where my head goes. And it's so stupid. So I'm so a type of person. I love shooting locations I know so well. I really want to go to this particular lake tomorrow. I haven't had a good outing there. I haven't had a chance to get there much. I know there's species there. There's a bunch of shorebirds showing up. Some ducks are starting to kind of like show up there. Colors might start creeping in. But there are 3 glossy ibises right now hanging out at a different pond that I've seen people get shots of. I know the kind of pond area. It's a tricky one to kind of get anything decent. So I'm like, they could be there. They could not be there. Do I make, do I like take the risk?
Got to make one attempt, right?
Well, the locations are in 2 different areas, so I was going to go tomorrow morning because that's when the conditions look decent. So I'm like, do I go sacrifice the morning and potentially they might not even be there and there's going to be probably not much else at that spot? Or do I go have, probably a decent outing and enjoy some like nice early morning light? So I don't know, and I'm going to toss up. I really want to see them.
Yeah. They're beautiful birds,
but they are, they're stunning. And like I said, to see 3 of them here, actually there's a bunch throughout the island. We've had some interesting winds and stuff, and I think actually like there's one of the hurricanes that's moving across, like going over like Europe, that kind of way, that's spitting things over this way too. So we're gonna get some interesting things, I think, over the next little while. So yeah, we've even had some sandhill cranes around as well.
Oh, nice.
So
nice. That's cool.
Yeah, it's been like some mixy stuff. So I don't know. I'm heading out tomorrow. We'll see in the morning where I'll end up. I'll give you guys an update next week.
Yeah, definitely. And I just realized I totally forgot to talk about the live streaming.
Oh, definitely.
Thing. So I'll just mention that quick now before we wrap up, because that's something I'm still going to play around more with. It's been on my mind to do this for probably, I would say, at least 2 years, if not 3 years. And I've just been trying to like find the technology to do it. I've been so close so many times, but there's always been just like one missing piece that's kind of like put killed the whole project, And it would be really simple if I already had the kit to do it. To be able to just go stream right out of my viewfinder, right? So you're seeing through the lens, and then I could stream that online. Real simple, right? That's pretty straightforward. I've had the ability to be able to do something like that for a while. But I quickly realized, just because I've recorded these kinds of things in the past, not live, is that only works if I just stay in one spot and basically don't move and have the subjects there. Because if I start walking around with that lens and people are seeing through it, it's going to be just like chaos. You're going to get seasick. It's going to be like out of focus. Just, like the image is going to be all over the place as you're walking around. Even if I try and hold it stable, like a telephoto lens is going to be a mess. So I've wanted the ability to switch over to a wide view, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And so finally, the action camera that I use for my wide stuff, it's by DJI, their Action Pro 5. And they just put out a firmware update a month or two ago, maybe. that allowed the
Okay.
USB-C port to output to HDMI. So get
okay.
video feed out.
Yep.
And that's what I've always needed. I've needed HDMI out so I can connect it into the system that would stream things live. And so
Yeah.
when that came out, I was like, all right, perfect. Here we go. Right. And so, of course, dude, I get all the gear. I had it all ordered to my mom's place before we got here. I get here. I'm all
Yeah.
excited, hook everything up, plug in that camera. Right. I also got an HDMI switch. So I now have
Okay.
I have a cable coming out of the camera, cable coming out of
Okay.
the action camera. They both go into a switch, and then one cable out of that into the system that allows me to stream all this video.
Okay.
So then I can just hit the button and switch back and forth.
Yeah.
In camera,
Switch back.
wide, right?
Yep.
Sounds simple. That damn camera would not output to that device. I can plug it into a TV,
way.
works fine. I can plug it into the monitor I'm looking at right now, HDMI, works fine. I can do all
Really?
that. It just would not work going to
Just wouldn't
this
communicate
little
with that.
streaming device that I
wow.
need that will allow my phone to get the video out of these devices and stream it to YouTube,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
I try different cables, try different adapters, try different HDMI, like USB-C hubs. Cannot get it to work. It just will not work. I have my old recording device not old, but I've had it for a few years that I do to record these behind the scenes. That has HDMI in and HDMI out. I plug it into that one, doesn't work. I fiddle with some settings. I basically had to revert a setting to an older spec of HDMI, and it worked.
Okay.
But then
really?
it shows up, but then it's only like intermittent. And I'm like, oh, are you kidding?
Oh, no way.
So then I'm like, wait, maybe it's the cable. Maybe I need a modern spec cable. So I get a new modern spec cable, order this. I mean, I had so many extra things I ordered from Amazon that I have to return still.
Yeah.
Plug that in, try it out. Boom. It worked. So now it's a little extra stuff. It's not really what I wanted. I have to go into my recording device, then out of my recording device, then into the switcher, then it goes into the streaming device. But it all works. I tested it the other day, and it all works. So here's what I need, right? I need to find a location because I want to start with just cell phone signal.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with trying to use my Starlink, even though that's in the works as well.
Yes.
I have to do some testing with that. So I need to just find a location and a time where I know I have a good enough cell signal that I can do a live stream from my phone. And once I have that down, which I think might be Hilton Head in like maybe 2 weeks, then I'm gonna I'll test the signal there, make sure everything's working. I'll schedule the live, and then what's going to happen is everybody watching right here, anybody's going to be able to join when I'm out in the field. You're going to see through my viewfinder as I shoot. You're going to be able to see wide as I'm walking around and looking for the birds. And I'm going to have a phone on my camera mounted right there, monitoring it so I can watch comments come in and questions. So you guys will be able to ask me questions. I'll be able to see those comments and answer them live as I'm in the field shooting.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
That's what's going to go down. And here's the beauty, right? It is a little bit extra gear, but it all goes in a tiny backpack, and it just goes on my back. Not too heavy, nothing too crazy. And I'm just going to basically have one cable going to my my action cam that's going to be clipped on my the backpack strap, and then a cable coming out of my camera. That's it. So that's all that's really there. It's not too much of a mess. And I tested it the other day, dude. It works. Good. It's crazy.
Oh wow, that is so cool. So in Hilton Head, are you hitting beach or marsh?
It's going to be probably beach, but I don't know. Okay. Maybe we'll do both. We shall see.
That'd be cool.
Yes. Yeah. I'm going to do the beach first, probably. Yeah. But I got to go there and test the signals.
Yes.
Yeah.
True.
So, but the down the road plan is I've ordered a battery that will run my Starlink for up to 3 hours anywhere. Okay. So I can take the Starlink with me out on location. All I'll have to do is carry it around with a tripod and just set it down. I mean, it's a Wi-Fi, so I can work within probably like a 50-foot radius of it. And then just like if I need to move, I'll just carry it with me. And so in theory, down the road, if some initial one of these work on just the cell signal, I'll try one of those, and I should be able to do it in really remote areas and do a live shoot. But I've never seen anything like this done before. You know, outside of like production value, like where they've had like a whole crew behind them running laptops and things like that. That's very different. This is just going to be me out in the field, portable, going to shoot, and you guys are going to watch live.
That's fun. That's awesome. Yeah, that's exciting.
So I'm pumped.
That's
I figured
really cool.
it out.
I hope I hope it worked out. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So I'll as soon as I have, a date where I'm going to be doing this, I'll be promoting the hell out of it and let everybody know.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
yeah, for all you guys watching right now, I'm really excited for this, and I think it's going to be something really fun. And I'm probably going to put out a poll. Pay attention on my Instagram to find out when most people would be available to do it, like a weekday or a weekend. Because it's probably going to be morning shoot, because I feel like evenings are going to be tough. But I just don't know when it's better for people to watch, if it's a weekday or a weekend. So I'll just ask, and whatever gets the most vote, I'll do it then.
Gotcha.
All right.
Exciting stuff, man.
It sure is. It sure is. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. We wrapped this episode in an hour and 15. Yep. Look at us go.
Sweet.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you guys next week.
Take care, everyone.